All right, so I'm going to move on to our next speaker, and that's Gail Dinkelkamp. Hi, Gail. I think you're here. You're going to have to unmute yourself.
I am. I'm sorry. I did that muting thing. You know, that's all we say is you need to unmute.
Yeah. So you're going to talk about 3 things that matter. 1, portal access measurement and digital resource management or account creation, right?
I am.
Okay, awesome. Good. All right. Well, I'll let you take the screen. I will be video off and muted unless we see something that we want to interrupt you about, like a question come in, but have at it. Thank you so much for being with us.
Perfect. Thank you. Can you see my screen all right?
Yep, I can.
Okay, perfect. I'm actually going to go off the video, I think, too, so that you can, actually, I think it's okay if I stick it up.
Yeah, I think you're okay. Yeah.
Am I all right? Am I taking up too much of the screen?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So I know I just have a half an hour, so this is sure going to be a quick look at ClassLink, but my name is Gail Dinkelkamp. I represent the Northeast for ClassLink, although I live in Texas, so I do everything remote. So I want to show you just kind of some of the pieces of ClassLink that I think are the most important and really important now, the way that we're learning, so single sign-on will be where I'm going to start. And then I want to also dig into our usage analytics. And I also want to show you how we roster, which can really help a district to do that all automatically and without doing it manually. It really helps save time, and especially in the summer when your rosters roll over. So I'm going to jump right in to my demo. All right, so hopefully you can see a new screen now. Sometimes I have trouble with that not showing up. So this is the generic login screen to ClassLink. And this will be customized for your district. So something that we do is we encourage you to brand it and make it your own. For example, this is Atlanta Public Schools. They use us in Georgia. They don't even call it ClassLink. They call it My Backpack, and we're absolutely fine with that. You can call it whatever you want. And this is Plano ISD, which is out by me here in Dallas, and they have a balloon fest every year, and they tie that picture in. And this one's by far my favorite. It's Pasco County, Florida. And with parent permission, they use their sweet little kiddos' faces. So your screen would be branded, and what we would do is this would be your go-to. So ClassLink would be where teachers and students go for everything. Kids can log in with the quick cards as well. So that's a nice way to do it quickly. The badges for your little ones, that's available too. I have a very short little video on what that looks like. So this would be a Chromebook. So the student is taking their badge and putting it right up to the camera. And the student is now logged into the Chromebook and logged into ClassLink. So it's just all one swoop and they're ready to go. I taught for 15 years and I used ClassLink. I taught with it and I taught without it. And I will tell you that when I had ClassLink and the badges, I used a lot more technology. It was just so much easier for me. I didn't use any lose any instructional time. My kiddos could get in so easily. All right, so this is our Launchpad. I think I hear people talking. I have lots of.
I think it's your slides are moving. You're okay.
I'm okay?
Yeah. Or you can go down to the bottom of your tray. Under your slides, there's a little thing that is a button-looking thing next to the slider on the left. If you hit that, it'll go to full screen.
Oh, I don't have it on full screen?
No. We see your small version slides on the left.
Oh, so you don't even see my my demo account?
No. You're gonna have to stop sharing your. Yeah, there you go. Now share your image. When you go to share, it'll show you a different image that'll show your online. Let me see. There you go. Launchpad.
Full screen?
Yeah, full screen.
Okay, so there's quite a bit of it you didn't see then. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, so I'm sorry about that. So let me, this is my login screen, my Launchpad screen. So lots and lots of icons here, but this is going to be based on who you are. So the resources are parsed out by your role and what you need. So if you're a second grader, you might only have 4 icons on your screen. If you're in high school, a whole different group. If you're a teacher, a whole different group. So this is all done through either the management console for single sign-on or through the roster server. And I'm going to explain that in a little more detail in a second. So when a student clicks on Castle Learning opens up and there's nothing to put in at all. I'm in my account and I'm ready to go. If I go back to my launch screen and then, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to click on that, and then just click on Discovery, I'm now in Discovery. It's opening in 2 separate tabs, so the students can go back and forth and be working in between several resources at once. You also can put things like all your library databases on here. I know that when I taught, kids would go home and look up things on Google and Wikipedia. Although these were on our website, they never knew the username and password. So that can be here so that then kids can get into those databases as well and be using rich resources. You also, I have my Microsoft Office in a folder. I have my G Suite in a folder. You can do a folder for your faculty and for your staff where they can go look at their pay stubs, check their health insurance. So it doesn't have to be just resources you've purchased for students. When I taught, I had a folder here with my curriculum in it. So when I clicked in it, my scope and sequence was there, my vertical alignment, my standards, and all the resources I needed to do my lesson planning, all in one spot. I never went anywhere but in my portal, and that's where I got everything. And then to help with remote learning, we've added a new piece called My Classes. So I'm going to show you this from a teacher's view right now. So when I click on that, my class schedule comes up. So this will be pulling from your SIS, pulling from PowerSchool or Skyward or RenWeb or whatever you use. So here's what I teach all day. So if I click on my Math Models class, in here, I can send a message to just the students in that class. I also can click on the logins and see who's logged in at any given time. I'm going to go to the previous week so we can see more. So I can see, who's logged in each day. When I click on the activity button, I then get how much time they were on. And if I click on that, it tells me what they were in. So Michaela was in Khan Academy for 2 hours. She went into Skyward for 4 minutes, probably to look at her grades. She went into iReady for only 13 seconds. She clicked on and off. So I can do that for any student and see exactly what they were in. So this is so nice for teachers that are teaching remote to be able to see what the kids are doing. I can have a discussion thread also going on between the kids in my class and myself. I also can add an app to the students' pages. So if we were going to do a Kahoot, and I didn't want them to have to go look for Kahoot to log on, I can pull up Kahoot and put it right on their page, or a Quizlet. I also can add something completely different. Like I could go in, if it was February and we're doing Black History Month, and I want the kids to listen to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, I can go get that soundbite and add it right to the kids' pages, put a note that says, I need you to go over listen to this several times, take notes we're going to discuss on Friday. So it's this great way to add resources to your students' pages that might enhance your lesson. When you're finished with that unit of study, the teacher can pull it off. There is also a notifications button here. So the district can send out notifications to, and it's done by OU group. So there can be a separate note that goes out to elementary than secondary. You can send a note just out to teachers. So it's just another way to communicate besides email if you've got a message you want to make sure everybody sees. There is limited editing in the edit mode, but you can change the app size, the font style, things like that. And then adding a folder too. I see a lot of high school kids that group their apps into folders. And then right here, we can just very quickly increase our text size, decrease our text size. As I get older, I need mine a little bigger. All right. So this is pretty simple. This screen, and what you wanted is that you just want to be your one-stop shop for everybody to get everything they need. This is a bully report form, so it doesn't have to be a digital resource. If you have a form you want kids to fill out, teachers to fill out, that can be put out on the pages. We always do something, ClassLink always does something to for the season, so we always have something fun there. You can turn that off. So I went through that pretty quickly, but I've got a lot to cover. So let me jump into analytics because I really want you to see the result of all the kids clicking on all of this and finding all they need, how then you can see exactly what they're using. So let me go in as an administrator. And let me click on analytics. All right, so this is going to open up to a dashboard. And that dashboard can be customized. So right here, you'll grab what it is you want to see when you log on. Because the technology person is going to want to see something different than a curriculum person. So you can set that up. I'm going to name it Gail's dashboard. Check the default button, and when I log in, that's the information I'm going to get first. All this information is coming from over here. So this is where I'm going to start. When you go to logins, this is going to be everything you've ever wanted to know about logins and some. So how many kids have logged in at any given time, how many kids in your district are logged in, how many teachers are logged in, your peak times. If you're with us for a while, we give you a 3-year history. Your logins per hour, so you're going to know when your network's really being hit. Your unique logins each day of staff and students. There is a nice calendar feature where we've made 6 preset calendars, but you can put in any custom range that you would like. We'll also show you logins outside school hours. You know, that's with the pandemic, we see the teenagers definitely working late at night. You'll also see all of your browser types, operating systems, and resolutions. And this is great for districts that have a big, wide smattering of different kinds of devices. Your schools will show up here, all listed. And you can take those schools and put them side by side and compare them. Curriculum really likes this when test scores come back. They'll oftentimes want to see, is one school using something that another school is not? If their scores were a little higher, that's a good way to see what everybody's using. We also give you a login heat map. So you can at a glance see your whole district and who's logged, how many people are logged in for the day. You can see if everybody's off to a good start, if it's a day where you're working at home. School app usage as well, and you can drill into that and get all the way down to an individual user. In the apps section, this is interesting. You can get into really exactly what's happening. So this is everything that we are using, the district is using from greatest to least. If I reverse that count, I'm going to get least to greatest. So some of these may be free things, and some of these may be things you've purchased that nobody is using. So this is definitely going to tell you when you need to not renew a subscription and save a little money. Now, from here, I can actually dig right into an application. So if I want to see what's happening in Reflex Math, I just click in it. It's going to tell me my unique users, staff and students, and I can do week, month, yesterday, and then of course I have this custom calendar as well. But I'm going to be able to see all my usage on just that resource. So if you're trying to decide if you want to renew, this is going to give you good information. You also can put in goals. So Reflex Math is a program that has to be used daily, right? It's for automaticity of math facts. The children get on it each day during their math station time until they get the green light. And that can take anywhere from 12 to 14 minutes. So put a goal in here of 12 minutes and we'll tell you if that's being met. You also can put in the cost of Reflex Math. So tell us how many licenses you bought. What did you pay? Did you have to pay for any professional development? Did you have to bring in a trainer? What was your funding source? When does it expire? Then in the cost button, we're going to calculate your return on investment. So we're going to tell you what is your most and your least utilized digital resource. What are you paying total for everything you're purchasing? And then you're going to be able to really shore up your licenses. You bought 140,000 licenses, but you've only got 123,000 unique users. The data we use for this is real data, is from Orange County Public Schools in Florida, and they have 230,000 students, if you can imagine managing that. So that's why these numbers are so big. But it's really a great way here to be able to tighten up your budget. We have so many districts that tell us this piece pays for ClassLink because they are able to, make their budget exactly the way it should be, and they're not overpaying for anything. You also in the settings can set up a report. So if you wanted a report on usage to be sent to each principal on Fridays or on Mondays, you can do that, and it'll be done automatically, so you don't have to worry about pulling that information and sending it. So we're adding a piece to this, which is coming out in July. It's called Analytics Plus, and that will show all usage analytics inside or outside of ClassLink on any school managed device. So if kids are getting to resources outside of the portal, going to websites, we'll track that as well, and that will be released for the next school year. And then the last piece that I want to show you is the roster server. So rostering can be a nightmare for some districts because somebody's doing that, sometimes manually, right? So you buy BrainPop Junior and all your kindergarten, first grade, and second grade need an account. Somebody's got to set that up. Somebody's got to pull a file and get it to BrainPop. So, or sometimes it's done manually. Sometimes the teachers take care of their own classes. We can take all of that off your hands with our roster server. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. We use the one roster standard whenever we can, which is a free and open standard. This too opens in a dashboard just as our other applications do. So it's telling you right now you're rostering out 48 digital resources to 104 schools. Your classes, your users, your enrollments. It's telling you anything that's happened recently, and it's going to show you all your API calls. The first thing that you would do is import your rosters from your student information system. And then the files that we're pulling are that one roster file set, and these are the files. Academic sessions, orgs, courses, as you can see, just data that's in your SIS. When you're in the server and all your apps are listed, let's say you just purchased Achieve 3,000. So you need to get it out to the kids that need it. If it was going to everyone in the district, you would click full permissions and everybody gets it. If not, you would pick custom permissions. That's more typical. And then you would go pick your schools. So let's say this is going to your high schools. You're going to pick your high schools. Then go into your courses. And let's say it's going to history classes. All right, I've got 3 history classes. I have World History and I have IB Contemporary History 1 and 2. World History doesn't need it. I want my IB classes to have it. I click those boxes, I save and exit. Now, every student that is rostered into IB Contemporary History 1 and 2 now will have an account created, and the icon will show up on their launch pad, and their single sign-on will be federated and passed through. So everything is taken care of. There is an advanced button too if you want to do it by classes. So if you bought just something for pre-K and kindergarten, you can just pick those classes. If you bought something only for teachers, you can pick those, like ASOP for them to put in for subs. You can go down as far as users. So if your special ed department bought something that's only for dyslexic students, you can go in and pick those students, and they would then have an account and be rostered into that resource. When I go back into my apps, there is a button here that will give you the API key and secret that's going to go to the vendor that will be encrypted. If they don't use, it can't go out REST API, we also can do Sftp settings. It's just a little more complicated. So this piece of ClassLink, when you get started with us, is a 1-hour kickoff call with someone that's assigned to you to make sure we get all of your resources in here and rostered the way you want them to. And there's several follow-up calls to make sure everything is done. There's a last piece called OneSync that also sets up your AD, Google, and Azure accounts automatically as well when someone is entered into your student information system. So the big picture is a student is entered in your SIS, OneSync picks them up and says, oh, new student, I need to give them their AD account, their Google account, their Azure account. Roster server picks that up and says, oh, here we go. He's a 4th grader. He's in Mrs. Davis's class. I'm going to set up his launch page, and I'm going to put him in these 5 digital resources that all 4th graders get. So at the next sync, the child is completely digital. So it's really a time saver. When your rosters roll over in the summer and your 8th graders become 9th graders, they're automatically rostered into all the resources that 9th graders get. And if they don't need access to the ones that 8th graders have, those get dropped off. So it's really, once you've got it all set up, it just works beautifully. I think I have about 5 minutes left, so I wanted to stop just in case there's some questions.
Okay, I've been watching for questions, Gail. I don't see any right now. But
Okay.
what have you been experiencing in your territory since the start of pandemic?
It's booming. Yeah. It's booming. People are, we're really looking, districts were really looking for something that could help with managing kids at home, which that my classes part does in the Launchpad, and then making it easier too for parents, right? Parents are struggling with how to get kids in. There's a nice parent portal here as well for parents to get into things they need, like looking at kids' grades, putting money on their lunch account, things like that. So there is a parent portal too, but it's been a real lifesaver, I think, for remote learning, and also for being able to keep up with what's being used and what's not, and just not throwing so much money at technology and not realizing if you're getting the benefit from it.
Yeah. So you guys actually have a paywall parents can hit? So you do do you do e-commerce payment processing for the schools?
No, like, there's accounts, there's software like My School Bucks, right? That you just
Yeah.
click on to put
Oh,
money.
okay.
We don't actually process the funds.
Hmm. Yeah, I would imagine that would be a big rigmarole in
I would think.
in terms of acceptability and the legal
Exactly.
consequences of the data back and forth. Yeah, it'd be huge. Well, this is really interesting. You also have a phenomenal number of companies you API to.
We do.
Yeah, and just from our national survey this year, we found just a ton of companies we've never even heard of being mentioned by the respondents.
Yes.
And it was phenomenal. And it always makes me think, we're in education, we're dealing with a really dynamic flow of what constitutes the product of education, which is the knowledge, right?
Mhm.
So you have software bits and pieces that will constantly come and go.
Right.
Like you're saying, like, oh, nobody's really using this, so they drop it. Well, they look for something else, right?
That's
So the plug and play ability of all your bits and pieces is never going to end, because somebody will decide that they're going to have to teach math differently. Oh, so this software's out. We got to get a different one. And that's just going to go on forever. So
It's so
are you
true.
experiencing that, like retirement of one, get a different one? Just, every account probably you're dealing with is just in a constant.
It is.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, we have a whole department called our partner department that just deals with getting new vendors signed on, right? We
Yeah.
don't charge the vendors. So there's some companies that charge vendors to come on, and we don't. So they like to work with us. And we're always willing to take on a new vendor. So if a district is working with someone that we don't know and we don't have an API built, if the district will just make the introduction between us and the company, we'll take it from there.
That's cool. Yeah. And what I like about your not charging is that I don't, and it was funny because we were in Boston one year with our event, and one of the superintendents said this. He said, free is like a puppy. So, and I love dogs. So, I really listened to him. So it was one of those moments where, it was just sort of funny, because if you really think about what you pay for software, if you're a vendor and you have to pay a single sign-on operation, you're inclined to pass that cost on. So
That's
now, and initially when you're passing the cost on, because you're a small company, you have a small number of clients, you're going to charge more per each client and maybe never scale that back as you scale up in number of clients. So essentially then what you're looking at as a school district is, if you're getting one thing for free, then you're paying more for everything behind that.
Correct.
So all of those companies are charging you more than the one who's doing the front end, which is the single sign-on.
It's very deceiving.
It's very deceiving, and it makes me sad.
And our overall cost, I mean, people may be wondering, like, what does this cost? It averages about $3 a user, depending upon the size of your district. And that's for everything. It's not a la carte pricing. It's all your tech support for the life of the product. We have real people in New Jersey that answer the phone all day long. You can call us anytime. Actually, we get called a lot on the weekends too. if I'm available, I'm always answering the phone. So we're known for our support. Almost everyone in our company was in education at some point in time. So we feel that we understand that when you need something, you need it now.
Yeah. There's no, I want to wait around on this.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Gail, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Super excited. Stay busy. Keep helping folks out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for being part of this.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.